Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about Oncidium orchids, how to care for them, propagate them, and what they need to grow. If you enjoy plant content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's get started. Oncidium orchids, commonly known as Dancing Lady Orchids, are a diverse and visually striking group within the orchid family Orchidaceae. They are native to Central and South America, with natural habitats ranging from northern Mexico down to southern Brazil, often thriving in warm, humid climates. These orchids are primarily epiphytes, meaning they grow naturally on trees rather than in soil, using their roots to anchor themselves to bark while absorbing moisture and nutrients from the air and rain. Some species may also grow as lithophytes, attaching to rocks in similar conditions. The Oncidium genus includes over 300 recognized species, offering a wide variety of flower shapes, sizes, and colors. The blooms are typically small to medium-sized and appear in large, showy sprays, giving the plant a full and flamboyant appearance. Flower colors in Oncidium orchids are remarkably diverse, including shades of yellow, brown, orange, pink, red, and white. Many species feature spotted or striped patterns, enhancing their ornamental appeal. Depending on the species and growing conditions, Oncidiums can bloom once or even multiple times a year. Among the most popular varieties is Oncidium Shari Baby, a hybrid well loved for its sweet chocolate-like fragrance and clusters of burgundy and white flowers. Its beauty and pleasant scent have made it a favorite in many orchid collections. Now let's take a look at their care requirements. Proper watering is essential for maintaining the health and vigor of Oncidium orchids. These orchids prefer a rhythm where the potting medium is allowed to dry slightly between waterings, but they should never be left dry for extended periods. The roots need both moisture and airflow, so balance is key. A good rule of thumb is to water when the top inch of the medium feels dry to the touch. During warm or dry weather, this might mean watering every 4 to 7 days, while in cooler or more humid conditions, once every 7 to 10 days may be sufficient. After watering, always allow the pot to drain completely and never let it sit in standing water, as this can lead to root rot. During the plant's rest period after flowering, reduce watering slightly, but do not let the pseudobulbs shrivel or dry out completely. Oncidium orchids generally prefer intermediate to warm temperatures. The ideal range during the day is between 18–27 degrees Celsius, while nighttime temperatures can drop to around 13–18 degrees Celsius. They enjoy a slight temperature drop at night, which can actually help trigger blooming in some varieties. It's important to avoid sudden temperature swings or prolonged exposure to cold, as this can stress the plant. Most Oncidiums do well in typical indoor conditions as long as they're kept away from cold drafts and direct heat sources. Oncidium orchids thrive in bright, indirect light. They do best with filtered sunlight or morning sun, such as near an east-facing window or slightly shaded south or west-facing windows. Too much direct sun can scorch the leaves, while too little light can prevent blooming. A good indicator of proper lighting is the leaf color. Light green leaves suggest healthy light levels, while dark green leaves may indicate the plant needs more light. Yellowish leaves can mean too much direct sun. If natural light is insufficient, especially in winter, grow lights can be used to supplement. Oncidium orchids need a well-draining, airy growing medium that mimics their natural epiphytic environment. A common and effective mix includes medium to fine-grade bark, often combined with perlite, charcoal, or sphagnum moss to improve moisture retention and airflow. The ideal mix retains some moisture but drains quickly, preventing the roots from sitting in water. Oncidiums don't like to stay soggy, but they also shouldn't dry out completely for long periods. Repotting every 1 to 2 years is recommended to refresh the medium and maintain root health, especially if the mix starts to break down or hold too much moisture. Oncidium orchids thrive in moderate to high humidity, ideally between 40% and 60%. Maintaining proper humidity helps support healthy growth and blooming. In indoor environments, especially during winter or in air-conditioned spaces, humidity can drop too low, so additional measures may be needed. To increase humidity, you can place the orchid on a humidity tray, use a humidifier, or mist the plant lightly in the morning. Avoid misting in the evening, as lingering moisture on the leaves overnight may lead to fungal issues. It's also important to ensure good air circulation, as stagnant humid air can promote mold and root problems. Oncidium orchids benefit from regular feeding during their growing season in spring and summer. A balanced water-soluble orchid fertilizer with an NPK ratio of the 30th of October 10 or 2020 is ideal. Fertilize every 2 weeks during active growth, diluting the fertilizer to 1/4 to 1/2 strength to avoid overfeeding, which can harm the roots. In the fall and winter, when the orchid enters its rest period, reduce the frequency of fertilizing to once a month or stop entirely. Always water the plant thoroughly before applying fertilizer to prevent root burn. For those seeking organic options, fish emulsion or seaweed-based fertilizers can also be used to promote healthy growth and flowering. Oncidium orchids are propagated in various ways, which we will explain in a few cases. The most common and easiest method to propagate Oncidium orchids is division. This is typically done when the orchid has grown large enough to have multiple pseudobulbs. To divide an Oncidium, gently remove the plant from its pot and carefully separate it into smaller sections, each with at least 4 healthy pseudobulbs and a portion of the root system. Once divided, repot each section into fresh, well-draining orchid mix and water lightly to encourage root establishment. Another natural method of propagation is through keiki production. Oncidium orchids sometimes produce keikis or small baby plants on the flower spike. These keikis can be carefully removed and potted up once they have developed their own roots, allowing them to grow independently from the parent plant. For professional or commercial growers, tissue culture is a more advanced technique that involves growing new plants from a small piece of the orchid's tissue in a sterile, nutrient-rich environment. This method allows for the mass production of Oncidium orchids but requires specialized equipment and knowledge. Oncidium orchids are generally hardy but can suffer from several diseases, especially under poor growing conditions. The most common problems include root rot, fungal and bacterial leaf spots, flower mold, black rot, and viral infections. One of the most frequent issues is root rot, usually caused by overwatering or poor drainage. Affected roots become black and mushy, leading to shriveled pseudobulbs. To treat it, remove the orchid from its pot, trim off the rotten roots with sterilized scissors, and repot it in a fresh, well-draining orchid mix. Allow the medium to dry slightly between waterings to prevent recurrence. Leaf spot diseases caused by bacteria or fungi appear as dark spots or patches on the leaves. These often result from excess moisture and poor air circulation. Infected leaves should be removed. Watering should be adjusted to avoid wetting the foliage, and the plant should be placed in a well-ventilated area. A suitable fungicide or bactericide may be used if needed. Botrytis or grey mold typically affects flowers, showing up as tiny brown spots that can spread in cool, damp environments. Improve air circulation, avoid getting flowers wet, and promptly remove affected blooms. Fungicide treatment can help control the spread if needed. Black rot is a serious fungal disease that causes black soft areas on leaves or pseudobulbs and spreads quickly in warm, wet conditions. At the first sign, cut away all infected tissue with sterile tools and treat the remaining plant with a fungicide. Keep the plant in a drier, well-ventilated spot. By providing the right environment, you can enjoy the beauty of your Oncidium orchids right at home. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.